Dude, you know the marketing department was like, how can we get more millennials and Gen Z to buy our products? They're not drinking soda anymore. Also, I hope you know it hurt my soul to say the word soda there. But, most people not in Michigan,
you did it
they
for
don't
the
say
listeners.
pop. I did it for the listeners, man.
Very nice of you.
I know. Trying to spread some love and kindness to the streets, Jared.
All right, well, I'm done spreading love and kindness because I have a comment for you.
Let's do it.
I'm done with commercial flight.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
For a few reasons, Chad. I'm glad you asked. First of all, did you hear another person got duct taped?
I did hear about that.
This one is egregious. And not only did another person get duct taped, I'm pulling up the story. The flight attendants that duct taped him.
Got suspended.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Especially here, I like this stuff, and
Apparently,
I'm gonna play it. Do you want to play it?
Oh yeah, play it.
Because I know what you're gonna say.
Okay.
And I'll just let him say it. I don't have the full. I'll just put it up to the microphone. This will work.
You guys fucking suck!
You hear it?
My parents are recorded fucking 2 million goddamn dollars. And you know what?
How sad.
Fucking suck! Yeah!
That dude's about to be on the no-fly list.
My grandpa is recording your fucking
He's talking about how much his parents
Yep.
and grandma are
Terrible.
worth financially, and just screaming on an airplane.
Terrible.
Now he's fighting a flight attendant. And now it's a video of him being duct taped to the seat on a Spirit Airlines flight. His head, his body is duct taped to a
man.
seat.
Oh man, what an idiot, bro! What an idiot! I'm sorry, but I have no patience for those types of people. Like, why would you ever cause a stir on? I tell you what, man. Before my trip to Germany, a couple of those stories we did on the podcast had me a little kind of looking around a couple times
sure.
when people wouldn't put their mask on immediately, and like the flight attendant kind of gave them a look. I was like, uh-oh, am I about to be in a news story where somebody else just got duct taped to their flight?
Someone commented,
seat?
"You can't brag about how much your parents are worth while flying Frontier."
Or Spirit or whatever. Yeah, that's crazy.
I believe it was Frontier.
Okay.
So yeah, a passenger was duct taped. I have the article here. A passenger was, and I'm not done, by the way. I have more reasons why I am done with commercial flight.
Okay.
And I also have it. I also have to admit something after that. So a passenger was duct taped to a seat after allegedly groping a flight attendant. By the way, so this is
Not cool, dude. Not cool.
So, we mentioned the fact that he was screaming about how much his parents were worth, but we didn't even mention how this started. He groped a flight attendant, so that's cool.
Do you think he's drunk?
He's on something.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a sober reaction.
Dude's probably more than just high on life, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're on an airplane. No one goes on an airplane sober, right? That's ridiculous, especially Frontier. So, yeah, he's on something. An out-of-control passenger on he looks like he's about 20. Oh, here. He's 22.
Okay.
An out-of-control passenger on Frontier Airlines flight from Philadelphia to Miami By the way, I lived in Philadelphia. I flew out of that airport many a times. This is why I'm done with commercial flights. It's too close to home. Airlines flight from Philadelphia to Miami last Saturday had to be duct taped to his seat after he allegedly groped 2 flight attendants' breasts and took a swing at a third. In a cell phone video obtained by South Florida news outlet WPLG, Maxwell Berry, 22, can be seen shouting profanities while sitting in his seat. He subsequently punched a male flight attendant, keeping watch over him, at which point he was taped down by a member of the crew for the remainder of the flight. When the plane landed, Berry was arrested by police on 3 counts of battery. The arrest report states Berry spilled a drink on himself, then went to the lavatory to change. He emerged shirtless. It explains, adding that Berry proceeded to wander the aisles for 15 minutes before allegedly molesting 2 crew members.
Jesus.
The
You
bizarre-
know in that bathroom, dude, where he went to change.
Yeah, to change into some Coke.
Yeah, really.
The bizarre incident comes less than 3 weeks after a passenger on an American Air flight. We talked about this when you got back.
Yep.
Comes 3 weeks after a passenger on an American Airlines flight from Dallas-Fort Worth to Charlotte was duct taped to her seat after she attempted to open an exit door and flight, then bit a flight attendant. By the way, both of these seem like very legitimate reasons to duct tape someone to a seat. They don't say it in this article, but at least one of those flight attendants that was suspended. I know that for sure.
Right.
Frontier passenger allegedly touched 2 flight attendants' breasts, then screamed his parents are worth $2 million before punching a flight attendant. Frontier suspended the crew for duct taping the passenger to his seat as they landed in Miami. 22-year-old man, blah, 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 is in custody. So, yeah. I'm not done, by the way. More reasons why I am effing done with, oh, shoot.
This is
done.
No,
I'm not done.
I will say this, Jared. This just justifies why road trips are a way better way to travel when you can road trip.
Oh, for 100%. I agree. You could bring whatever you want. You don't have to pay for extra space.
Right.
There's no. There are concerns about fools on the street, but you don't have to listen to them.
Right.
Maybe they might run into you, but I prefer that than what happened on. I'd rather get in a car accident to deal with what's been happening on these airplanes recently.
I just picture you like sitting there.
I'd take that back, by
flight.
the way.
I just picture you, Jared, sitting on a flight just with your like noise canceling headphones on. Like,
Oh, yeah.
can't hear anything.
I would just be looking straight ahead like a goddamn powered down robot.
Just like, will they please finish duct taping this guy already?
He'd be screaming like I'd be in the middle seat, he'd be in the window, and he'd be screaming at someone in the aisle seat, and I'd just be sitting there just like, this has nothing to do with me.
Yep.
I'm listening to Tyler, the Creator's new album, Call Me If You Get Lost, and I'm not concerned. Another reason, by the way, this is, I think, more of a reason why Spirit and Frontier just need to go away more than anything. Hundreds of flights canceled as Spirit and American Airlines face operational shortages. Have you heard about this?
I have not heard about
Flights are
this.
just getting canceled left and right, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Hundreds of flights were canceled or delayed in the United States on Monday as a range of issues appeared to impact 2 major carriers, American Airlines and Spirit Airlines. At American, about 13% of the carrier's scheduled flights, 387 total, had been canceled as of 3 p.m. Did you hear what I just said? 13% of the carrier's scheduled flights, 387, had been canceled as of 3 p.m. Eastern Time, while another 533 or 18% were showing as delayed according to Flight Tracker website. So if you add that up, 31% were either canceled or delayed on one day.
That's not fun. Bad time to be traveling.
A whopping 35% of Spirit Airlines' 269 flights had been canceled. Did you hear what I just said, by the way? That's even crazier. 35% of Spirit Airlines flights had been canceled as of early Monday morning, while another 126 or 16% of the airline's planned scheduled were delayed. Jesus Christ. So 51% were delayed/canceled. Weather appeared to be the main driver of Americans' difficulties, despite issues with staffing flights earlier this summer. The Dallas-Fort Worth area, home of American Airlines headquarters and biggest hub, was buffeted by severe thunderstorms when powerful winds, blah, 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 blah. Spokesperson for the airline cited Sunday storms as well as related air traffic control delays, severe ramp-ups. And listen, I'm sure that's true on a certain level, but I've heard that this is not isolated to one day, just to be clear. This is not a one-day thing, and I think it's more of a staffing issue, you know?
Yeah, it could
be. Yeah, and also...
Definitely could be.
I feel like flight attendant, it has to be turning into one of those jobs where it's like, you know, like with like the server, like the serving industry, they're having trouble with people coming back. And it's like, oh, people just don't want to work. That's the problem with society. And it's like, no, you're not paying people anything. And people are realizing that, you know, people are starting to realize that they don't need to be paid nothing to work at a shitty job. And I feel like with the increase in these flight incidents, we are probably going to see a similar thing there too.
Yeah.
Now, I said I have something to admit. I booked a flight.
Uh-oh.
And
where to?
I booked it. And I immediately regretted it.
Okay.
And immediately was thinking about how I can get out of this flight. So I booked a flight to New Orleans.
Okay.
for a friend's 30th birthday party.
Oh, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And now I'm just like, I don't want to do this. This seems like a terrible idea.
Why is that?
Because there's a Delta variant going around, and even though I am vaccinated and I probably won't die, I still don't want to get COVID.
Right.
And I feel like putting myself in this situation is just sealing the deal. There was something in the news just the other day about how Louisiana is like one of the hotspot states.
Doesn't surprise me one bit.
And so luckily my family lives in Louisiana. If they didn't, I wouldn't have even booked a flight. But I use them as like I'll go, I guess, because I booked the flight. But like I'm day by day I'm like I'm not going to be involved in any of these parties. But this is a friend, and I'm conflicted, because it's like now I'm gonna have to tell my friend that I have no interest in going to any of these New Orleans establishments, and essentially guaranteeing that I'm going to get COVID.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to I don't know what to tell you, Jared. In a way,
Am I wrong? I'm vaccinated. How do you agree? Do you disagree with my concerns?
Here's the thing, Jared. I fully agree with your concerns, but
would you do it?
Let me speak my truth for you, Jared. Let me just say this. I would feel a little hypocritical not, saying that when I was in Germany, I went to some bars, I went to a party, and my justification for it, and maybe it was stupid thinking, but my justification was, well, I'm vaccinated, and so I don't want to get COVID either, Jared, but
and I've been to bars.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to parties. I'm not saying I haven't done that stuff. But even still, I don't know. It's New Orleans, bro. So it's like I haven't been to packed shit, I guess, except for one party. But that was early on. That was before people were really talking about Delta variants, to be fair. I don't know. I just feel like New Orleans, being in Louisiana, being in places where the whole appeal is that you're in these crowded bar/club.
Well,
it's not just going to a bar where you sit down with friends for a drink and there might be people in there, but like it's like it's like there's the pictures from Lollapalooza where it's just like crowds of people just like.
Did you see the
ass
meme?
to elbow?
Did you see the meme where it was a picture of Lollapalooza and somebody posting, "Is this the Krusty Krab?"
Oh, I did see that one.
Yeah.
Another one I saw was they had like the classic Lollapalooza or a festival like lineup poster where they show all the acts, and every act was just Delta variant.
Oh, that's funny. Here's the thing, though, dude. I hate to say this because I understand the severity and I get people's lives are at stake, but we are living in a science experiment right now. Like, that's why I'm kind of curious. Like, I don't want to get COVID, but like, I feel like you can look at being vaccinated in one of two ways, Jared. You can look at it as, well, I'm vaccinated, so I'm going to live life as normal.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I look at it a little bit. And I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I'm just saying these are two opinions or viewpoints. The other one is more of
how
yours.
you live your life.
I think the other one, though, is that, you're vaccinated. You don't want to get COVID, so you're still living much more cautiously, carefully, being more choosy, which I think is fine.
And
bars and places you go.
Exactly. Going to... It's not even that I'm necessarily concerned about getting COVID, but it's like, well, why would I put myself in a situation...
You don't want to risk it.
Where it's not even risking it. Like, I feel like if I'm going to hotspot, like by hotspots I don't mean COVID hotspots. I mean hotspots as far as like hangs or like clubs and bars in New Orleans. You're solidifying it, Like, it's not even risking it. These are packed bars and clubs in a place that is notorious for tourism, meaning people coming from all over the place, and a state that is less vaccinated than like the national average.
Right.
So it's not even like I'm like risking it. I mean, it is. I'm risking it, but it's more like you're definitely going to get it.
You think so?
And it's just the vaccine that you're living off of.
Here's my question, though. And once again, I'm not a doctor, but here's my question. If you're vaccinated, if you are exposed to it,
sure.
Do you get it? Do you get sick?
I mean, based off of the stats, the risk is very low that you're going to end up, that you're going to end up any more serious than some slight symptoms at most.
Right.
Especially for my age group and all that stuff, and being vaccinated. Even if I experience a symptom,
though, Jared, I will say this. I think Germany takes the cake when it comes to just overall testing. Like, dude, the way how easy it was to just sign up, get your test. All of my tests while I was in Germany were completely free, and I'm not even a German citizen. So
Yeah, I haven't been tested once. I mean,
get out of here, Jared.
You haven't been tested until you had to go to Germany.
Yep, and then I got tested before I came back.
Okay,
So that's it was funny, dude. I had to go on campus for my job to set up actually some audio equipment for work, and it was really funny because I did they call it the campus like daily screener just to make sure you're good to go. And because I had traveled abroad,
I was about to say, that's one of the questions.
It was, and because I traveled abroad, I got this red email saying "Do not come to campus," and so I had to call the campus health and safety and basically explain my situation. Tell them I got a COVID test. I don't have any symptoms right now. My test was negative.
And you're vaccinated. Did you mention that?
And I'm got the Pfizer. I've been vaccinated since May. And so the lady said, right. And the lady said, well, Sunday was your day 0, I guess is what they call it. It sounds like a crazy, scary movie or something.
World War Z.
Right. But she's like, so Sunday's your day 0 when you got tested, or Saturday, whenever it was. Thankfully now it's been long enough, Jared, where now I'm past now I don't have to select that box
Which is
anymore.
so funny because the U.S. has the highest COVID cases these days, and you traveled with
I felt way safer in Germany, honestly, than in the U.S.
You traveled through Missouri, Kentucky, and Tennessee, and they're not concerned about that.
And I'll be honest with you, man.
In Germany, where they test
I masked up. Like when I went inside gas stations, when I initially checked into the hotel, I masked up. I was one of the few people down there. Dude.
Oh, for sure. I can imagine that. I mean, you're one of the few people up here. I can only imagine. I remember driving through those states, and there was no one masked up even like a couple months ago. I went maskless once in a grocery store.
Did it feel weird?
A couple weeks ago. I didn't like it. I'm back to masks. I went back to masks immediately.
It's weird. I see a lot of people our age still wearing them once in a while, and then older people, and that seems to be about it.
Yeah. But the older people are also probably way more likely to be vaccinated too.
Right.
But for some reason, honestly, I feel like it's even less a concern about COVID, even though maybe that is some of it, and more just like I feel like there's more anonymity, and I like it.
And
I like it.
I didn't get sick all year last year.
Yes, I haven't coughed other than choking on my own saliva for a year and a half. It's been so great.
Yeah.
I haven't been sick
nice.
once, except for allergies, but that's not really sick, I guess.
Right.
And so I'm with you. I'm like, well, even though you might not give me COVID, but like you can still get me sick.
Right.
I don't want to get sick. It's great not being sick. Almost no one, statistically speaking, no one got the flu last year.
Right.
And it's like, this is great. The flu kills a lot of people too.
It does. For sure.
And young people too, a lot more than COVID does. I think that's more of a young person. I shouldn't have said that because I can't even validate that. But anyway, so yeah, now I got about a month and a half to figure out what I'm going to do about my trip to New Orleans because I'm not going to bars and clubs. I'll tell you that. Maybe I'm just hoping that he hears this and I don't have to actually tell him to his face.
It's kind of weird. I mean, I went to some bars and clubs in Germany, and and I went to some. Maybe I shouldn't tell you this because you're going to kick me out of your house, Jared, but I went to some bars in Nashville. So I went to the honky tonks.
Okay, nice.
And
I'm not concerned.
So it was weird though, dude. It was weird, like walking up to the bar, got a couple beers and just a burger, and it was just weird looking around. Nobody had a mask on. It was weird. The band had a mask on while they were setting up, and then once they started to play, they took their masks off.
What's the point of that? What's that do?
Beats me. But I mean, the music was great, and that's kind of why I don't know. I guess is listening to good live music worth getting COVID? Probably not, but. Your boy was stupid.
That might be worth it. But if you're not, it's definitely not. Did you see a lot of good live music in Tennessee, Kentucky?
Well, not Kentucky,
just
but
Tennessee.
In Nashville, absolutely. Oh yeah.
Was it all like what were the genres that you experienced?
So that was the interesting thing, Jared. So I was on most of it was all on Broadway in Nashville, which is kind of the honky tonk bar central.
So that's country.
A lot of country, but
Bluesy,
you hear some of that. You hear some pop music occasionally. I heard one band cover "Don't Stop Believin'" by Journey as I walked by.
They do like country covers or like blues covers of these pop songs.
I don't know I think some of them might just be like
or just sort of
pop covers too. Yeah, just covers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a live band, and you for sure. I went to Robert's Western World, and the reason why I went there. It's a bar. It's a honky tonk. And the reason why I went there is because they do play more traditional country, which I wanted to get that more traditional vibe.
What's it
and
called
that was
again?
really cool. Robert's Western World.
I'm trying to. I understand in concept what a honky tonk would be. I'm trying to picture it in my head. So I'm gonna go.
Well,
I'm gonna pull up photos.
Let me paint
Yeah,
the picture
please.
for you and the listeners, Jared. So
Please.
honky tonk, it's usually a 1, 2, occasionally 3 or 4 story bar, but usually 1 to 2 stories, where you go in, and as you walk in, usually the band is to the right or to the left of the door, and a lot of times they have the front is like a window facade, so you can see the stage and see the band. And a lot of times they'll have that window open or the window next to it open to draw people in. They lure you in with the good music, Jared. And
So you're kind of partially playing to the street.
yeah. Yep. And that's, well, I think I told you on our last episode there was, or maybe the episode before that even, there was a guy who had a wireless mic who was singing out on the sidewalk out in front of the bar.
So is this bar on one of those popular streets?
Broadway is the street,
because I'm
and
looking at
Robert's
this-
Western World is on Broadway.
I'm
Yes.
looking at just some street photos, and there are a lot. It looks like a lot of honky tonks on the street.
Yeah, it's all just that row.
So as you're
basically.
walking down the street, you just hear music constantly.
Yeah. Yep. And,
Okay.
And you'll take 10 steps, and then you'll hear a different sound.
Right, or fade out of one
Yeah.
into another.
Exactly. It's really cool. Like there's this electricity in the air on Broadway. Like if you're a music lover, and you and I are both, I think, audiophiles, and we enjoy music.
I'm a big fan of bar live music too.
It's and that's the thing, dude, is that's where I realize that we're really lacking here in Michigan, Jared, is just like a lot of like, I couldn't tell you where there's like the live, and maybe there is. So if there's any listeners in Michigan, let us know.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's any like live music scenes around Michigan anymore.
I can't really think of anything.
Yeah.
That's something they also have in New Orleans, by the way, as
Yep.
well. You can. That's the same concept.
Well, I
You
was
can walk
talking to
down
a friend
some
in Germany,
streets.
and they were asking me, they were like, because they had been to New Orleans, and they were describing New Orleans to me. And I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds a lot like Nashville, except it's jazz, not
it's a
honky-tonk
different
music.
vibe for sure. It's jazz and like blues and stuff. It's a completely different vibe, but it's similar in concept to where you're walking down the street and you're just like one bar's live band goes out and another one goes in.
Right.
As you walk down the street. It's a similar concept to that. Did you get any food at any of these honky tonks? Because I'm looking at the food and it seems like there's a very specific food option.
Well, it's barbecued a lot of the places, isn't it?
I keep seeing these sandwiches, like these white bread sandwiches that are like grilled on a sandwich on a grill, like on a hot, not a hot plate, but
Okay.
what do you call like a flat
Like a griddle?
griddle? Thank you. And I keep seeing multiple pictures of these sandwiches.
I couldn't.
Did you see any of these sandwiches?
Can you turn your
I'm
laptop
nervous.
my way?
I'm nervous. How good?
I did see some of those. Yeah, that's from Robert's Western World.
like
with their
this?
PBRs.
this is
oh,
what
yeah.
I'm looking at. This is
Yep.
Robert's Western World.
So I got a burger there.
Okay, so you didn't get one of these because this is like the primary pictures of food that I see. Like even
Right.
this. Look.
Yep, I literally sat right in front of that bar.
See,
and
look,
where
why
they
did
were
they keep
making it.
having pictures of these white bread sandwiches? I think you missed out on.
I might have, but I'll tell you why.
the
The reason
local
why I got a
foods.
burger though, Jared, is I
look,
just wanted something
another
a little
one.
beefier. I see it.
I know you see it, but I'm just saying it seems like
Maybe I
that
did miss
was,
out.
and it also comes with this chocolate moon pie cookie.
Yep.
Did you get the cookie too?
I didn't. And the burger, it
You
was
missed
just
out on
burger
the
and fries.
Nashville special.
I guess so.
Another one. That's the only
Well-
food they have on
Well,
the
I
Google
guess
images.
I guess you and I have to go to Robert's Western World when we do our
honest
road
with you,
trip to Nashville.
This sandwich doesn't look that appealing to me.
The burger was actually pretty good. I will
I
say
can imagine that. I think I'd probably prefer the burger too. This sandwich does not look that appealing to me because it's like
Right.
some sort of low level meat.
Just
A big
do me a
tomato.
favor though. Just Google Broadway honky tonks, and then I'm just curious if they have like a map or a list. Just because it's crazy how concentrated they are on that one street. And a lot of places you can get fried chicken, you can get barbecue, burgers. The alcohol,
much-
I will say though, Jerry, the alcohol is pretty expensive. Like a bottle of Budweiser at some of these places is $7. You can buy a
that's their-
6-pack of that.
That's their like there's like 7 of them on one block.
Yep.
That's their but this is like their tourist central, This
Mm-hmm.
is almost like their Bourbon Street or like Times Square,
Yep, it
Seems
is.
like.
Yeah.
There's the Roberts Western World, there's
Tootsie's is another pretty famous one
the
that's been there
stage
for a
on
long time.
Broadway.
Yep.
There's Layla's Honky Tonk. There's Second Fiddle.
Yep. Walked
Tootsie's,
by all
as
these.
you mentioned.
Yep.
Legends Corner, Ripley's, Honky Tonk Highway. Yeah, there's a shit ton of them.
Yep.
Nudies. This is one block, by the way,
Yep.
that I'm on right now.
Yep.
Nudies.
It's crazy.
Nudies. What's up with nudies? I think that's false advertising. That's probably why they have 4.5 stars. Oh, come on. You can't call this place nudies.
Right.
3 stars. I thought they were going to be titties, but the music was good.
But the music was good.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Sounds like a blast.
It was a good time, man.
Sounds like old blasty blast.
The trip was fun and it was just great. You know, the transit served me well. I do have exciting news.
What do you mean?
Jared.
I thought you meant the public transit. You mean your?
My van.
Yeah.
I think I've named it. Or
Okay.
I'm curious what your thoughts and maybe what our listeners' thoughts are. So as I was driving, I was talking to it because I'm weird like that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it was because I was trying to pass cars and I had my foot all the way to the floor.
Yeah, come on,
Yep. And
Yeah.
guess what? Guess what I was saying? I was saying, "Come on."
Bertha.
Nope. You're close though. Come on.
Missy. Old girl.
You nope. It's not. Well,
Daisy.
could be a lady, but I don't think it's a lady. Come on.
Come on, Thomas. Thomas the Choo Choo Engine.
Come on, buddy.
Come on. Oh, Buddy's the name of
I
it?
think I might go with Buddy.
All right.
Because I just kept calling it Buddy. Like as I was trying to pass some of these, RVs on the expressway, and I was going up the hill.
I think that's fitting because it is the Transit Connect is a very friendly, approachable vehicle,
Yeah, Buddy. Buddy.
It's not intimidating
yeah,
by any means.
Buddy the Transit. I think.
yeah.
It works.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Buddy's
So.
good. And it's gender neutral. Sometimes when I hear like people like call their cars like she or something like that, I'm like, relax. It's getting weird. Real
Right.
weird. So I like the gender neutral name too, Buddy.
So there we go.
All right.
Well, should we get into our bread and butter, Jared? If you know what time it is,
We can. And I'm thinking, I don't. Did I do Untranslatables last episode?
I don't think you did.
Okay, because I was like, I feel like I looked at my Untranslatables I had, and I was like, I feel like I did not say these, but I feel like we've done 2 episodes and I haven't done Untranslatables once, so I can't tell.
Let's hear them.
All right, well, they're both Spanish. The first one is non beta. Oh, I did do it because I remember saying beto.
Yep, you did do this.
All right, well, never mind. I don't have any Untranslatables.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
got quite a few then. Well, Jared, do you want to start with Arabic or French today?
Arabic.
Arabic. All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. I'm going to try to say this. El yetletia min el shorba yonfok fil zabadi, which means he who burns his tongue from soup will blow in yogurt.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Is that how it goes? I just like that J. Cole lyric where he has the George Bush little speech.
And I literally
Fool me one
just
time. Yeah.
unplanned almost did the exact same George Bush because then I was going to be like, wait, no, is it fool me?
Right. Fool me 3 times.
Fool me won't be fool the game.
Right. I mean, I would kind of give it to you. It's yeah. I mean, it's
Like you learn from your mistakes, essentially.
Kind of, but you overcorrect it.
Oh, okay, so because you burned your tongue once, now you're extra cautious and you just are.
Are you reading my laptop, bro? Do you have like some magic powers?
I do have some magic powers.
Here is
untranslatable
the meaning.
powers.
Yes, you do. Here is the meaning, Jared. If you had a bad experience once, you will be extra cautious the next time. You almost said that verbatim. That's pretty crazy.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. That's one of the untranslatables where you hear it and it's like, I see it. That makes perfect sense.
It does.
I'll take a French one.
Well, here we go. I think you might know this one because you did take French classes. Maybe you do, maybe you don't.
You overestimate already my French abilities.
There we go.
Pay no attention.
Well, I burned my tongue once from soup, Jared. So what can I say? A la vache.
Vache? Ooh, that's an animal of some sort.
It
isn't
is.
it? I can't think of what the
It's a
animal
black
would
and
be.
white animal.
A black and white animal.
Eats grass.
A cow?
There we
Yeah.
go.
A la vache?
Ah, la vache.
Oh.
Ah, la vache.
It's like, the cow.
Oh, my cow.
Oh, my cow. Oh, my God. Is that what it is? Oh,
Very good, Jared.
So you can also say mon Dieu, for example, which is another French.
Does that mean my God?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is like what you would say when you are like surprised, right? Or excited.
Okay. See, let me ask you, how many of these things do you plan on giving me? Just let me know off the bat, because I feel like we can go, if it's up to you, this would never end.
Let me give you one more French one. One more. Last one. And I think Jared with let me just say it. Devenir chèvre.
Chevre, is that hare? Chevre, horse?
You're getting warmer.
No, horse is cheval is hare, I believe.
What's a
horse.
hairy animal that's smaller than a horse, but also has hooves like a horse? Has hooves.
Has hooves. A sheep?
You're close. A goat.
A goat. Okay.
Mm-hmm. To become a goat. And no, I don't mean the greatest of all time.
to become a fool? To look like a fool?
Why would you look like a fool?
Embarrass yourself because you keep making the same mistake over again?
To
become the goat.
If you become a goat, Jared,
because you fall, because you trip.
No, you're thinking too specifically. This is more general.
Okay, because I imagine goats fall, because they fall over sometimes.
Oh yeah, especially those fainting goats.
Yeah.
That's crazy to watch.
That's
those.
what I was thinking of.
No, this is like, for example, Jared, if someone came by your fancy ride and just keyed it, and you saw him keying it, you might become a goat.
So I like to see red.
Yeah, I'll give that to you.
To get
basically
angry.
to go crazy.
Yeah,
but
okay.
usually in anger.
I think to see red means to go crazy.
I think so too.
You're so angry that you can't even see, like you can't even make proper assessments. I'm about to make a mistake. My feet are all tangled up in these cords. Those are some good untranslatables, Chad.
Thank you, sir.
People from the Olympics, by the way, should be listening to our podcast, because now, as we know, first of all, at every Olympics, the main event is banging, and then occasionally they do some sport on the side.
Just once in a while.
You'd think it would be useful for these people that are meeting from all around the world to have some fun untranslatables to throw around at each other. Especially we've experienced people from all over the world, no matter really where you're from, if they don't expect you to speak their language, and you speak something, they get so excited.
That's true.
Here's a tip for you Olympians, if you didn't know that. Other than being ripped and in perfect physical form, learn an untranslatable or two.
Peak condition, for sure.
Everyone there is ripped. You need to have your edge, and that's if you're going to have fun untranslatables that are going to surprise native speakers.
Exactly.
Oh, wow, look at you. How much do you pay attention to the Olympics, Chad?
I've only been watching stuff here and there. I hate to admit this, Jared, but I get more news about the Olympics from social media. Than
Why do you hate to admit that?
Because maybe I should be watching the Olympics instead of getting my news.
The Olympics are stupid. The Olympics are stupid. No one they're great sports all over the place. No one cares about the Olympics. Really.
Why is it? Well, I guess you just answered my question. Like Olympic soccer, like I haven't
Don't
even
care.
watching it. Yeah,
Don't care.
But
also timing is weird as hell too.
well, yeah, this year it's definitely a little more difficult just with the time change. But have you been following at all what's been going on with the U.S. basketball team?
No, but here's a no but. I feel like what I have been following is a similar dilemma, shall I say, with the women's American soccer team. Am I wrong?
I don't know. No, you're not. The men. So at least I don't think you are.
Two
I
teams.
tell you. Mm-hmm.
What I'm getting at: two teams that you expect to just dominate and walk all over.
Not been doing that.
That have not dominated, because I think the women's soccer team, which by the way never lose. The American,
they're pretty great.
The U.S. women's soccer team never lose, just period. They have won like every women's World Cup that's happened. They just win all the time, and they've been walked. Apparently, I haven't watched any of this, by the way. This is all social media. They've been walked over a little bit. Not walked over. They've lost. And they're no longer in the Olympics, and I don't think they got any medals. I think they lost before they could get any medals in the Olympics.
Right.
And everyone's shocked because the U.S. women's soccer team just always wins everything. And I imagine, is that the same thing that's happening with the U.S. men's basketball team?
Well, I guess the basketball team is now in the finals.
Okay, so not as bad.
Right. But yes, U.S. women's lose in soccer, win in volleyball and in basketball, according to the Houston Chronicle.
So the women win in basketball
and volleyball,
but
lose in soccer
in the U.S.
Yes.
Okay.
And the U.S. men's team is actually in the semifinal, but they lost their first game.
Impressive.
Yeah, they lost their first game though to France, which this is the first time since like the '80s that the U.S. men's team has lost a first game in the Olympics.
Soccer?
Basketball.
Oh, we're talking
Basketball.
basketball. Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, interesting.
It is a crazy, like, the Olympics are kind of a crazy thing though, really.
Yeah.
When you think about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's been going on for however long, right? And
I think, especially when it comes to sports, I think for me personally, when we're talking soccer, for example, even when you get to national events like World Cup, Euro Championship, Copa, or whatever like that, there's still, to me, sort of a weird sort of disconnect from the reality of soccer. Because to me, the reality of soccer is mostly like club soccer.
right.
And so when you get to Olympics, it's even more of like, who cares? Like, it's even more of a disconnect from like the reality of soccer to me.
Right.
It's not the World Cup. It's not the Europe. It's not any major.
Well, it's
national...
not even a lot of the international teams. They're real A teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Either.
Because of that, a lot of these teams also don't. They're not going to prioritize bringing the best over. You know, when they're club stars. You know,
Right. And I hate to say this, Jared. I'm a Germany soccer fan. I couldn't tell you 3 people on the Olympic team.
Really?
Nope.
I mean,
Could
that's
you?
a shocker. I haven't watched any of it.
Right. Well, me either. Me either. But
yeah, I just have no interest in the Olympics. It's and you know the thing about the Olympics too is it doesn't seem like the residents of any of these countries have any interest in the Olympics or any sort of national international sporting event, whether it be the World Cup or the Olympics, being in their country. Because when the World Cup was in South Africa, when the Olympics were in Brazil, I believe, or was that the World Cup as well? Well, you know, just like it seems like every time it's just like, do the people want this, or is this just like some like 4 billionaires in this country that got like some kickback for this, and where it's like, and like they're the only one benefit, while like we're gonna build a whole stadium that's gonna be used once,
right,
and then we're just gonna abandon
dilapidated.
it. Yeah,
exactly.
Who abandons a stadium?
Funny thing you mentioned that with the billionaires, though, Jared, because you know why they call it Olympics 2020.
Well, I mean, I know that it was supposed to happen in 2020 and it didn't
Correct.
because of COVID.
Correct. Why not just call it Olympics 2021?
It's a good question. Why not? I don't know.
Here's a theory. Merchandising. They had already created all this merch for Olympics and for the Euro Cup. They called
Sure.
it Euro 2020 as well.
Oh, really? I didn't
did.
even register.
They did. And I was talking to some people in Germany, and they were actually like, "Oh, it's totally got to be merchandising." At first I thought they were joking, but then it was like, "Wait a minute!" Like
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, they probably start printing stuff in 2019 or whatever.
Exactly.
Kind of like the same thing with the Super Bowl. They send off the losing team, like they donate they make a winning shirt for both teams.
Yep.
Like a shit ton of winning shirts for both teams, and then the
Right.
losing team, they send it off to donate to countries around the world, and so
Right.
you'll find like random kids in Africa or India wearing like I don't know, Detroit Lions Super Bowl champions or whatever.
That is hilarious. Well, Jared, I do want to say this though. You mentioned that, you know, like who from people's countries even watch the Olympics. I hate to say this, and I hate to call you out on this, but I think that's a very American thing to say. And let me tell you why, Jared. Let me tell you why.
Proud to be an American.
That's right.
I'm not.
Let me tell you why though, Jared. So here were 2 historic Olympic gold medals that I think did captivate the countries where these people are from, because it's been the first ever Olympic gold medal. So
I
the
know one
first
of them.
which do you know?
I know that my boss is from Italy.
Okay.
Is that one of them?
Nope.
Okay.
No, Italy has had gold medals. You think it took them till 2020 to win their first gold medal?
He was mentioning how exciting it was that some Italian won like the 100-meter dash or something.
Maybe it was the first time an Italian has
Okay.
won the 100-meter dash. Anyways,
I'm only reminding people that I don't pay attention to the Olympics at all.
That's fair. It's good that I got stuff to talk about today, Jared. Otherwise, we'd be done.
I have the list. I do want to just go through the list of Olympic sports, which I do have.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. We'll do that in a minute. But this one, so first one that's really historic, Jared, is a historic gold by the Olympic weightlifter. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Hidlin Diaz, who is from the Philippines, and she won a gold medal in the 55 kg category after lifting a combined 224 kilograms. That's about 450 something pounds, Jared.
Damn.
And she weighs about 110 pounds, maybe.
More than double her weight.
Yep. Yep.
Jeez.
And so she is a legend in her country by winning the first ever gold medal in Olympics for the Philippines. For the first time ever at an Olympics, Filipinos got to hear their anthem played after an event was completed. Obviously, Diaz was seen singing her country's anthem out loud and looking proud during the medal ceremony. Speaking to reporters, the 30-year-old Diaz said she was stuck in Malaysia for 5 months last year due to a COVID-caused travel ban, which forced her to build a gym and train with water bottles. A year later, she'll forever be remembered not only in the Philippines but around the world. The same can be said for the Bermudian triathlete Flora Duffy, who, like Diaz, won the first ever gold medal at the Olympics for her country. Duffy won the triathlon in a time of 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 36 seconds, backing up 2 world championships by winning a gold medal for Bermuda, which, like the Philippines, got to hear its anthem played for the first time following an Olympic event. So I think that's kind of cool to mention.
Okay.
So shout out to Hildlyn Diaz and also to Flora Duffy for their first ever gold medals for Philippines and Bermuda.
I'm so ignorant. I'm over here like, where the hell is Bermuda?
Isn't it in the Caribbean somewhere?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm going to be 100 honest. I wasn't sure if it was in the Caribbean or like a Asian Pacific country.
That's fair.
But I'm ignorant, and I'm not proud. I'm not ashamed. I'll admit it. Let's go through the sports because there are a lot of Olympic sports.
Let's do it.
3-on-3 basketball. It's so weird seeing the scores. It's like, oh, U.S. won 14-3 or whatever. It's
Right.
like, what is happening? Acrobatic gymnastics. Have you heard of this? This looks like it involves 2 people.
I have not heard of this before.
Acrobatic gymnastics is multiple people doing like acrobatic routines with gymnastics.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so like synchronized acrobatic dancing, essentially.
Nice. Okay.
Now, when we're going through this, please feel free to chime in with something that you would watch.
I mean, that would be interesting, the gymnastics like that.
Oh, oops. Hold on. Let me focus on. I realize that this has all the Olympic Games. Let me focus. Let me make sure I just have summer stuff because that winter stuff was mixed in there.
Oh,
as well.
good call. I will say this though, Jared. I hate to downplay the Summer Olympics, but I prefer watching the Winter Olympics.
Me too.
You see the ski jumps and all
Those
that
ski
stuff.
jumps are crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
They have even the half pipe stuff is awesome.
It's pretty sweet.
Or even when they do the stuff. You know, I just learned what is it whatever it is where they shoot and ski.
Oh yeah, is that the biathlon?
Maybe. I just realized or learned from somewhere, listened to a podcast or something, the added level of difficulty with that, because the whole point of like this accuracy shooting is controlling your breath. It didn't even register to me. So you're doing like this super intense cross-country skiing and you're out of breath and you have to then control your breath to take
Jared,
like a marksman shot.
I shot guns while I was down south and
where?
In Missouri.
Is that down south?
Or Midwest.
Okay.
Midwest. Wherever you want to call it. It was southeastern Missouri though, so it was bordering Kentucky.
Your friend's dad's brought some guns out?
No, just my buddy. But
he has some guns?
Of course.
He doesn't even live
guns.
there.
Well, I mean, they're his family's guns.
Okay.
But he and I went out shooting. It was fun.
What kind of guns?
Bolt action rifle from World War II.
Okay,
pretty
like
cool.
an M14 or something.
It was a British one. But anyways, I can see the only reason why I mentioned it, I could see how the breathing for sure would make a huge difference because, it took a couple practice rounds till I could even really get the breathing.
You never
right.
played a video game before in your life where you had
I
to
have.
control the breathing?
Of course, a little bit.
Okay. Archery seems like a fun one. Mm-hmm. Haven't you messed around with archery a little bit?
Yeah, it's fun. I really like shooting a bow.
You have a bow?
I do.
Is this new?
No. Actually, my bow is super old. I need to get a new one.
Okay, because I feel like I've heard about you doing this, but I've been to your house a lot, and I've never seen any signs of
It's in the
someone that
basement.
okay.
It's all in the basement.
Okay.
There's a lot of room in that basement for stuff. A lot of room for activities.
I mentioned artistic gymnastics.
Right.
Artistic swimming, which is the same concept of artistic gymnastics, but in a pool. I guess I wonder if that's a similar concept as like synchronized swimming. Athletics, just general athletics is what they call it. What the hell is that?
Yeah, what is that?
That's like running and shit. So athletics are the track and field events. So that includes 100 meter, 200 meter, 800 meter hurdles, steeplechase. Steeplechase is a fun one. Do you know what the steeplechase is?
No, what is that?
So steeplechase is the one where you do it's a hurdle into like the puddle of water.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
I
Those
never
are cool.
understood why that was a thing, but they do a 3,000 meter steeplechase, which is long as hell. I didn't realize they go that
That's
long. With
super
it.
long.
I thought it would be like 400 is one to go around the track, so 3,000 is insane. So yeah, they're just those are the track events, and then there are the field events, which are high jump, pole vault, long jump, triple jump, shot put, discus throw, hammer throw, javelin throw. From those, pole vault's a little interesting because it always seems like it's going to go wrong. Triple jump or long jump is fun. No, yeah, long jump is fun because it makes it when you see it happen.
It's crazy to see it
physically.
happen.
It seems like it makes no sense and would hurt because they do a thing where they jump and then flick their legs out first.
Yep. Gotta get that distance, Jared.
And then the javelin throw is always a fun one because that
Okay.
seems real old school, back to like what they were doing in Greece.
Well, and I think
Throwing a stick.
this Olympics, the gentleman who did the javelin throw broke our record.
Really?
And it was crazy. I was seeing some memes. Somebody was like, he wasn't competing, he was hunting because his javelin landed like 3 or 4 feet away from the cameraman.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Just the cameraman should get a medal for that, for
Right.
standing steadfast.
Right.
We have some more, by the way, as far as athletics go. There's road events.
Okay.
And that
Is like
includes,
running or
a
bicycling?
long distance, a 20 kilometer race walk.
Jeez. Well, a walk?
Yeah.
How does that
Remember
work?
those? You've never seen that before?
No.
They do like the super high speed walk.
Okay.
How do you judge that? Oh, you're running.
Right.
A marathon.
Disqualified.
A marathon, which is what, 26.2 miles?
so, yeah.
And then a 50-kilometer race walk, which is just men. The 20 kilometers, men and women. And then there's 2 more.
Okay.
As far as the athletics go.
Right.
Decathlon and a heptathlon.
What's the heptathlon?
Do you know what the
That's
decathlon
5?
is? Because I don't know what either of those
Decathlon
are.
is it 10 kilometers?
A decathlon, I feel like that's a bunch of events, right? Not kilometers. It's decathlon isn't that 10 events? I believe that's what Caitlyn Jenner was good at back in the day, right? The decathlon.
Could be.
An athletic event taking place over 2 days in which each competitor takes part in the same prescribed 10 events.
Oh, yeah.
100-meter dash, long jump, shot put, high jump, 400-meter dash, 110-meter hurdles, discus, pole vault, javelin, and 1,500-meter run.
That's crazy.
So I guess they add up like some sort of cumulative score of all 10 of those events for a
Okay.
winner. The heptathlon, which I guess is 5. Hep
Yep. That
is
would
5.
make sense, I think, yeah.
Let's see what is involved in heptathlon. All right, heptathlon. What are the? Oh, wait. You know how in Google they have like the frequently asked questions.
Right.
One is what are the 7 events in heptathlon. The second is what are the 5 events in heptathlon. The heptathlon women consist of 3 running events, 2 jumping events, and 2 throwing.
So it
events.
is 7.
Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe it's I guess so. All right. What are the 7 heptathlon events? 100-meter hurdles, high jump. Okay, yeah, so it is 7. It's just they simplified it in the one I said before. All right. So those are the athletics. It's all the track and field stuff essentially. Interesting. I guess I never realized how it's crazy how much stuff because there's a lot of on this list. It is crazy how much they just bucket it into one thing.
Yeah, athletics,
It's like 10
yeah.
things that they just
Well,
put into
maybe
one.
that's why, because there's too many Olympic sports otherwise. I will say this, Jared. One thing that is new to this Olympics, do you know which sport is new to this Olympics?
What's that?
Skateboarding.
Oh, yes, I did know that.
Yeah.
You know what's coming next at next Olympics 2024?
What's that?
Breakdancing.
Are you serious?
Serious.
Nice.
All right, here's some more in the 2021 Olympics.
First of all, how do they, and I don't expect you to know this answer, but how do they even decide like what sports go into the Olympics and what don't? Because I feel like in 20 years, Jared, we're going to have like 700 sports in the Olympics.
I feel like, but stuff drops out as well.
That's true.
I feel like at this point, it's just with popularity has a lot to do with it. Like what's hot these days, you know? And skateboarding is a weird one because the skateboarding culture has always been anti-establishment,
Right.
and anti like corporations, and now it's like one of the biggest sporting corporations wants to
Monopolize skateboarding.
Yeah, capitalize on skateboarding. Here's some more sports. Badminton seems like a fun one. I've seen some. I'll keep going. Baseball, softball,
Yep.
basketball, beach volleyball. That's a good one.
Did you hear about? I don't remember now if it was beach volleyball.
No, I think that was indoor
or
volleyball.
Was it handball?
No, I think that was indoor volleyball.
Was it where
What-
the Norwegian
women-
team refused to wear the little thong bikinis?
Yeah,
Which I think is
maybe that was
fair.
outdoor. Maybe that was beach volleyball. I thought that was indoor volleyball. But yeah, they have like these specific sort of guidelines. Yeah, and they're like,
Which is silly. Let's be honest.
yeah,
It's
you
just
can either wear
completely
like
silly.
the thong or like the full underwear.
Right.
But that's it.
Yep.
BMX freestyle, that seems fun. BMX racing, that seems kind of dumb.
It's kind of fun to watch.
But racing, I don't want to watch a BMX bike racing. If I'm going to watch
you ever
racing,
watched one?
I would like because are they swaying back and forth?
And
at
there's
high
the jumps
rates
and stuff.
Oh, there's jumps too.
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of dope.
Yeah, it's
Because
and they got
BMX
the little
bikes.
slot.
Oh, I
and that's-
see.
It's
Because
pretty
BMX
cool to watch.
bikes are not fast bikes.
I mean, you can get going though.
Yeah, but if you were, I feel like
They got the long ramp and they got the jumps.
I feel like
it's cool to watch.
BMX bikes have disc brakes on them. You don't see that often.
for racing.
But I feel like I could be faster than on a road. Well, granted, not on jumps, obviously, but on a road
Right.
bike, I feel like I could be faster than a pro on a
the tracks
BMX
are pretty
bike.
cool. Maybe,
But I didn't even factor in the jumps. It looks so funny because these are adults, but they look like children
right,
on these bikes. Boxing, that seems like a fun one.
right.
Canoe, kayak, flat water, that seems fun too. Canoe, kayak, slalom, diving, equestrian, fencing, football, golf, handball, hockey, judo. I enjoy judo. That's a fun one
Yeah,
to watch.
judo's a cool one.
Karate, that one's kind of good too. Marathon swimming, that is
Boring.
boring as hell.
Yep.
That's great to fall asleep to. Modern pentathlon, we got another one, Chad. Now, based off of,
Penta would be 5. Right?
yeah, based off of what I see in the picture here, I think they have all the sports in this tiny little picture: swimming,
Okay.
fencing, equestrian, some sort of shooting, and running is what I see in the picture. So we're
Okay.
gonna go by that. Mountain biking, I'm sure that's fun, but I have no interest as a mountain biker. I'm not interested in watching it. Rhythmic gymnastics, okay. I'm not really.
Do you have that? Do you have that Snoop Dogg video I sent you at your disposal?
I do,
Because I think that's a cool Olympic event. I don't even know what it's technically called, but it's like the equestrian, like the
Oh, that's dressage.
is it, oh look at
Let's
you.
see if that's on the list. Let's go
Dressage.
to equestrian. I believe that's dressage. It's probably within the equestrian area.
Would make sense. It's where the horses like trot around.
Yeah, I believe it's dressage.
Okay.
Dressage.
There we
It
go.
is considered the most artistic of the equestrian sports and
There
is
we
used
go.
as the groundwork for all other disciplines. It tests the ability of horses and athletes to display both athletic prowess and extreme elegance by evaluating, for example, an athlete's ability to make the horse move quickly from side to side, transition into gallops, or rapidly change direction using subtle commands. So it's essentially just showing like
Showing off your horse
the athletic
tricks.
ability is how much
Smooth can your
control
horse dance?
you have over did you send me that over Instagram?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. It's just how much control you have over an animal, a beast
Yep.
is what it is.
Yep.
Essentially.
It's wild to watch though, Jared.
And they just sort of trot around. Yeah, so what is this, by the way? Why is Snoop Dogg commentating?
So Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart were on a TV show, and they were just asked to commentate on these Olympic
okay.
Games.
Because I told you I saw him commentating skeet shooting, and
Right.
of course Snoop Dogg had some fun commentary regarding
sure.
skeet shooting. Here we go.
I like this. This is equestrian. This is prancing. This is equestrian.
Prancing.
Oh, wait, look at that horse. The horse crip walking, cuz. You see that? Oh, shit. That's gangsters of up. Hey!
Yeah, and the horse is like moving side to side or back and forth, right?
Oh, come on, man. This horse is off the chain. I gotta get this motherfucker in a video.
He's talking a music video. That's awesome.
I gotta put the horse in the video. Chain. I need that. Horse.
I've only seen 2 clips from this and then the skeet shooting one. But I love that there's a professional comedian, Kevin Hart, and Snoop Dogg, a rapper, and and Snoop Dogg seems to be the comedic relief.
Yeah. Right.
Kevin Hart seems to be like the straight man.
Right. Right. Yeah, dude.
The comedian's like trying to he's like cracking up and just trying to like be the straight man. I find that hilarious. Snoop Dogg is I mean he's a great host and commentator.
Yeah.
Let me just give you some other events, by the way. Road cycling, rowing, Rugby would be fun. I didn't even realize. Sailing's kind of fun. Shooting involves a whole bunch of various things,
Yep, that makes
including
sense.
skeet shooting, which Snoop Dogg commented on. Skateboarding, as you mentioned. Sport climbing. Well, I imagine what it's like, rock climbing or something. That's interesting. Did you know they had rock climbing, Chad?
Yep.
So sport climbing involves, various versions of rock climbing. Yeah, interesting. I didn't even realize that. Learning new things here. Surfing, that's a cool one. Surfing's an interesting one because how do you know you're going to get the same wave every time? How do you get the same wave?
I think it's how you ride the different wave, and they have a judgment system based off of that.
So the judgment would take into account
I think
the
so.
wave that they had access to. Swimming, we mentioned didn't we already mention swimming?
Yeah, we
maybe
did.
it was dive, but interesting. We mentioned artistic swimming, diving, but not marathon swimming is what we mentioned. Then there's also swimming. I love how those are split up. They're both equally boring. Swimming's a hard sport to get hype about, as far as like even if it's like sprint swimming, it's hard to get hype about. There's too much
Right.
splashing to really get a good idea of what's happening. Table tennis
Oh,
is,
yeah. It's
that's a
intense.
great sport to get hype about. I've seen
Yeah.
some. Have you watched any just like social media clips of table tennis?
Oh, I've seen full matches.
I'm sure you have. You're in a household of proper aficionados, but I've seen some wild.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw one where it was this one guy that had these crazy like
Smashes?
but then there's other guy that was like 16 feet away that had the most delicate sort of
Touch.
like curve touches to respond to every, and he ended up winning at the end.
I
by the
know
way.
exactly what rally you're talking
You saw
about.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Where it was
of
just like
course.
this one guy, he was the guy on the far side, just smashed it, and the
Yep.
other guy would just be like, "Ska," and
Yep.
the guy would just smash it back, and he would just sprint, "Ska."
Yep.
And then the guy that was just like placing it won at the end of it, but
He
it was a
did.
crazy rally.
And the amount, Jared, the amount of touch it takes to be able to, because depending on how you smash a ball in table tennis, it will put different spins on it.
Right.
So you have to adjust your racket accordingly.
So the guy
it's pretty
smashing
crazy.
it's deceptive too. I imagine, it probably looks to the untrained eye like me that he's just smashing it while the other person's placing it. Well, I imagine the smasher is also placing it as well.
He's placing it, and the guy who's returning it, he's putting other types of spin on the ball. So if you watch him, most of the time he counteracts the spin. So if it spins
So-
to the right, he'll hit it, so it'll spin to the left.
because he's getting a shot that has so much power behind it. Is it easier for him to do these super delicate spin?
Well, yeah, 'cause
like
it just
you can get a
comes
lot
right
more
off your
spin on
paddle.
it when it's coming at you with a lot
Of
more
course.
power.
Yeah, there's just more momentum.
Okay, so
yeah.
so are they almost caught in a place where the guy is forced to smash and the other guy's forced to do that? Just
Yep.
how they got caught up.
Yep, because if what happens usually is if the guy who's smashing it,
You can't smash.
tries to
It's hard to
do-
smash a smash.
not
imagine.
necessarily.
Okay.
No, not necessarily. But with the guy smashing it, if he were to fake the guy out and hit like a drop shot because he's so far back from the table, a lot of times it's hard to do that because there's so much spin on the ball. Either the ball goes right in the net or it flies right off the table. So you have to kind of smash it to counteract all that spin and everything. And
So
then-
I see, like counteract, like turns off the spin. I
Yeah.
see.
Well, or the spin will just affect.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
I
table
gotcha.
tennis. It doesn't defy the laws of physics, but it makes you question them for sure.
By the way, for those of you that don't know, Chad is properly trained. His father is properly trained. Their table tennis heads to the max.
Yep.
And they know all the little ins and outs. Taekwondo, that's another fun one that's kicking and shit. Tennis, track cycling, trampoline. What?
Oh, that would be cool.
That seems
Is that
dope.
like flips and stuff?
I guess so. It
I
looks
gotta
like it
look.
based off of the little mini stick figure picture they have on the Olympic site. Triathlon, which is run, swim, and bike. Volleyball, water polo, which is where they kick people in the nuts underneath the water. Weightlifting and wrestling. Those are the Olympic activities right there.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Yeah, and I'm looking up this
Not
trampolining
interested
right
in
now, and it's awesome.
The vast majority of those, I'm going to be honest with you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think the ones that really broadcast well are the more fast-paced ones.
Yeah.
A lot of the more
Gymnastics
distance
is good.
ones. Yep.
Especially like the balance beam
Right.
or running is always good. That's easy to see who's winning. There's no
Right.
confusion.
Swimming as well. The short distance kind of fast swims can be kind of fun to watch too.
Yeah, I feel like the struggle with swimming is it's harder, especially if it's a good close one. It's harder to see
Right.
who's winning.
Well, you
Because
got to
of-
know the lanes. You got to have the.
Yeah, and I imagine usually they probably have some sort
They
of
project usually.
Yeah.
Speaking of swimming, though, Jared, I do want to mention this. I want to mention some extraordinary moments from this Olympics as well. We already mentioned the gold medal situation, for Philippines and Bermuda. But listen to this, Jared. 17-year-old Lydia Jacoby wins the gold. Her Alaska hometown goes wild.
American.
Yes, so Lydia Jacoby was the first American woman to win a gold medal in the swimming events in Tokyo. The high school student dominated the women's 100-meter breaststroke, completing it in 1 minute 4.95 seconds. And when she did, her hometown went absolutely wild. So that's the thing, dude. If you're from a small town, I feel like anywhere in the world, if you're from a small town, everybody knows you, and everybody's watching.
It's interesting you bring her up, and you bring up extraordinary moments, but you don't bring up the fact that during the medley relay, her goggles slipped off, so she was going goggleless.
I did not know that. That's crazy. Okay, that's some speed, Jared. When you lose your goggles, they're not on properly. But either way,
yeah.
Another kind of extraordinary thing this Olympics, and we did talk about it, I believe, on the last episode, is the athletes showing off Olympic Village and their cardboard beds.
We talked about that.
We did, right? All the athletes jumping on them and sending videos. That's too funny.
You told me about an Irish guy, I believe, jumping on. I believe I told you about 3 Mexican guys that like held onto each other and jumped onto it at once. And I saw, I don't remember where another group of people were from, but I saw like a group of like, I don't know where they were from, but they would have like one person at a time stand on the bed. It was just all these like, it makes me happy because I didn't know how maybe afraid athletes are of, because in certain sports, athletes have a certain fear, depending on the sport, certain fear of like like in football, you kind of see it in Formula 1 too, where it's like the governing body really sort of controls the personality and culture. And so it kind of makes me happy to see all these athletes be like, we don't care about your no sex policy, and we're going to have all these fun games to see if these beds are sex worthy.
Well, it's
They're
funny
not afraid
too
of being like disqualified for it or something.
Right. Well, what's funny too, though, Jared, is that I forget her name now, but one of the women kayak competitors used the Tokyo condoms to fix a couple holes in her kayak and ended up winning a medal. And she said, yes, I kid you not. Google it. I kid you not. There was an Olympic kayaker who used the Tokyo condoms to basically patch up her kayak, and she ended up winning a medal. I know this shit sounds too crazy. This sounds like something made up.
I don't even understand how you would use a condom for that. Here, I'll read you. It's a Jessica Fox from Australia. Looks like it.
Australia.
Australian Olympian uses condom to repair kayak at Tokyo Olympics, as Chad just said. Jessica Fox posted a video on her TikTok account where she used a condom to repair her broken kayak. Same sentence. She went on to win bronze in the kayak slalom event. Let me see this video. Let's see if I can find this video.
That's too funny.
I want to know how she's using these. I have an ad blocker on, and they don't like this on this site.
Uh-oh.
Oi. This Olympic site. Oi. Aussie. No ad blocker. Here, all right. Let's see. No, we're not going to see. There's an ad, and it's not worth it. She uses condom somehow. That's certainly. Oh, there is no ad. That's certainly. Yeah.
Pretty crazy, isn't it?
Interesting. Oh, so they did like some like what looks like epoxy sort of repair onto like the cone of the.
Bet you never knew condoms could be used for kayak repair.
I hate that TikTok voice. Robot voice.
Yeah.
They did from the looks of it is that they made an epoxy repair, which is like like a clear sort of solution that can dry. And then they put a condom over it because maybe they didn't have enough time for it to fully dry or something. So they did that. I mean, that's very ingenious and impressive. I love it. That's
for
great.
sure. All right, I got 2 other Olympic things, and then I think we've covered. The first one is 46-year-old Oksana Hutsovitina.
Is that ROC? Russia Olympic Committee or whatever.
Well, so here's the thing. On their tweet on Tokyo NBC Olympics, they say Uzbekistan's Oksana Hutsovitina. And then in this article here on CBS, they say Ukrainian. So what is it, folks? I don't know if it's Ukrainian or Uzbekistanian. I don't know if that's how you would say that. Uzbek. But anyways, this was her 8th Olympics, Jared, and she has announced at 46 years old, Tokyo would be her last.
Yeah,
She
no
competed in the
shit.
vault event.
That's crazy.
And after completing, the stadium gave her a standing ovation, honoring the history-making gymnast for decades of work. That's crazy, though, dude.
Every jump she makes must be terrifying.
Right?
At
8
46.
Olympic Games. That's crazy.
So what's that? 8, 24. So she started in her 20s.
Yeah,
Didn't even start that early then.
Right.
Because if you do the math, that's 24 years ago. So she started at 22. It's not even that early.
That's pretty crazy.
Like she could have started 1 or before that.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. At what? Well, that'd be what?
18.
18? Yeah. Yeah, you could totally do that. Anyways, my last one, though, Jared, have you heard of the heartwarming story of the 2 Olympians sharing a gold medal?
That was the Italian guy
Yes.
and a guy from Qatar.
Yes, but it wasn't for the 100-meter. It was for high
Okay.
jump.
But there was the same guy?
I don't know if it was the same guy.
Oh, but he was Italian.
Yes.
Okay.
He was, yeah, it was Italian and Qatar.
I saw the clip on Twitter.
It's
that's so funny. I thought that's what my boss was talking about this morning. I made a comment in a meeting that I saw his celebration, and I realized now I didn't even see the celebration for the thing he was talking about.
That's hilarious. But yeah, I just love this story though, because like they're talking about it and they're like, well, it's tied and you can do a jump off. And then I think the guy from they're kind of looking at each other, and the guy from Qatar I think says, "Can we both just get a gold?" And then the committee guy I think at first is kind of like, well, you two have to. And then the French guy I think was just kind of like, "Sure, we can share it."
There's a French guy?
Or sorry, Italian. I think it was Italy and
Now I don't know. I
Here,
don't know.
let me see.
Because I already got it wrong in a meeting, so clearly I don't know. You don't have me lying.
Right? Is it?
Let me see. Here it is. He was Italian.
Okay. Yep. But yeah, so I think that's just awesome to like share the gold.
Gianmarco Tamberi, and from Italy and Qatar's Mutaz Essa Barshim decided to share the gold medal in the men's high jump in the Tokyo Olympic Games in an unprecedented move that prompted cheers around the world from their sportsmanship. Yeah, I saw that too, because there was the question, and then they were like, yeah, and then there was just like they broke into celebration.
Yep. Which I think is awesome.
Like,
And
sweet, I won a gold medal then.
right. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny though too. I guarantee you there are some frumpy boomers out there who are like,
That's not winning. It's like a participation trophy.
exactly. You read my mind, Joe.
I wonder if they're going to be friends forever now.
They should be. I hope they become homies after that. They
they're
should
from
be.
completely different parts of the world, but that's a beautiful
Why
moment
not?
to share.
I mean, that's the cool thing about sports. I will say this, Jared.
or maybe they're banging tonight. That could happen too.
Well, the dude's from Qatar. I'm not so sure about that, Jared.
There are gay people in Qatar.
I mean,
trust me.
I know there are, but it's different world over there.
But he's not there. He's
That's
free.
true. He's
This
in
is
the
the point of the Olympics. This is what we talk about.
There-
It's a fuck fest, Chad.
that's
He's
true.
not in Qatar right now. He's not concerned.
He can be living his best life.
Exactly.
That's fair. That is fair. Well, Jared, I mean, I think that's the beauty about sports, though, is
Brings
brings
people
from-
together, Chad.
That's right. That's right. Fuck fest or not, it brings people together. So yeah, that's all I got
beautiful
for you
moment.
today, Jared, and everybody else out there. So thanks for tuning in, and you can find us, or I guess let us know what your thoughts are about the Olympics at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. What are some of your favorite sports or favorite events or favorite stories? You can also slide into those DMs on Twitter, untranslatable1, the number 1. Check us out on Instagram and YouTube, Untranslatable Podcast. And please, we beg you, pожалуйста, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, děkujeme, muchas gracias, shisha, and dos vidania.